Pokemon Winds and Wave just got even more exciting, and we got a bunch of leaks and rumors to talk about Generation 10. Now, all starting off with these four pictures right here. Now we can break down each and every one, but first we're going to start with the health bar and the umbrella on the side. Now, this is actually the weather effect. Now, when you play Pokemon, there is going to be a weather effect. Either it's raining outside, then your water type moves are going to be doing more damage. If it's just a hot summer day or a hot sunny day, your, of course, fire type Pokemon are going to be doing more damage. If it's snowing or a snowstorm, ice type Pokemon, you get the point. There's going to be a whole bunch of weather effects, and on this health bar, it seems like that actually is what it's going to be. So whenever one of those effects show up, it's going to show right beside your health bars, and your Pokemon is going to become stronger, if you will. Now, if you take a look at this picture right here with all the Charizards standing around a tree, this seems like what the party system is going to be like. So just like Pokemon Legends Arceus, you will be able to throw all your Pokemons out and just stand around them if you want to. It seems like that is a very, very cool and awesome idea, because then you can go out on an island and have fun. Now, I'm not quite sure what the bottom left picture is about. It kind of looks like a portal with an unfinished build. Now, this could be a scooter, because it seems like there's a shadow and it doesn't really look like the person, although it kind of does. Or this just could be a whole bunch of Pokemon. Anyways, this is a build of the game, which is really interesting. Then we got flying Charizards inside of each other. Okay, so now this could be some sort of power attack or something like that. But overall, it seems to be very, very interesting on what we could see and expect for Pokemon Winds and Waves. And speaking on Winds and Waves, the title might not actually be Winds and Waves, because this title has been here since 2021. So that is half a decade ago from the time of recording this video. And it is a pretty crazy thing. Usually, Pokemon, if they see the name has gone around too much, they'll force it upon themselves to change the name. We've already seen this with Pokemon Sword and Shield. The original games were named something completely different, and just before it was time to release it, they named it Sword and Shield. Which, it's not necessarily a bad name, it's pretty cool. But for Winds and Waves, it really describes what the game is going to be about. Being able to go underwater, explore island to island, being able to go on the waves themselves, doing something with the air or the wind. It's pretty interesting, and it really describes out this name. So I wonder what they're going to do. If they do manage to change it, they always do something with the Pokemon games as a whole. We've seen this with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, where there was two professors. Scarlet was the more yellow or orangey sort of color, and then Violet was more the, of course, violet color. Sword and Shield, you had a doggo that was a sword or a shield. Overall, they were very, very interesting names, and I don't really know what they could do for Winds and Waves. It could be water and sky for some reason. It could be something else, but it doesn't seem like we are going to be flying to the sky unless we get some new ideas about floating islands, if you know what I mean. But overall, it seems to be very interesting. Now, if we take a look at this logo right here, if they don't change the name to Pokemon something else, this logo for Winds and Waves kind of reminds me of Pokemon Sun and Moon, or Ultra Sun and Moon anyhow. I think that these are really cool logos, and maybe this is exactly what Pokemon is going to be. Unless the original logo, where you would see Pokemon Winds and Waves, and you pretty much see this logo everywhere by now. So it leaves you to ask the question, what is going to be happening? Now, we do have a potential release date for Pokemon Winds and Waves, which is November 12th, 2026. Now, this is actually on a Thursday, so it does correlate to when Nintendo usually releases games. So hey, maybe this is a true thing, or maybe this is not going to be so true. But overall, it seems to be very interesting. Now, we got some more concept art about starter Pokemon. Now, right now, we don't really know what the starter Pokemon are going to be, besides one leak out there that's going to be saying we got a grass bat, some sort of red panda, fire red panda, and something else. But here we got a very interesting thing. It looks like a circle ball of grass type thing, a little worm that's a fire type, and a weird icy monkey. That's probably it, but you know, it's going to be very interesting here. Okay, so we have another leak that we have to talk about here, and this one is a pretty big one. Now, if you take a look, voice acting. And now, voice acting, we've always wanted something like this in a Pokemon game because right now, Pokemon is in the greatest state when it comes to not wanting to read the lines. You don't want to sit there and mash one button. Well, voice acting might actually be the case. Now, right here, it seems like there is some plans on bringing voiceover. There's some rumors, but of course, this could be something else. Like, it's not going to be fully voice acting, but instead your character is going to be like, woohoo! Yippee! Yahoo! Woo! But yeah, you know, whatever the case may be, it's going to be very exciting. Now, of course, this could just be Pokemon as well, but it seems like just maybe we could finally start to see voice acting in Pokemon games, because some of us don't want to sit there and read a whole book when you're playing a Pokemon game, which is completely understandable, and I'm the same way. Now, moving over to something else. We already knew what the starting island is going to look like. There's going to be some sort of runway on the side, which your plane probably lands. You start the game off and you land a plane, you make your way to these islands because you're a researcher for Pokemon Company or something. You're a researcher and you make your way to this island and you see all these little city town thingies. Now, if you look at this, the X marks the spot looks like that's where the player character is going to be. If you ask me, this is a pretty big island, so hopefully everything is properly sized, because you don't really want to see something super massive if there's not really anything there. Like if you look at something like Metroid, if you look like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, some areas were super big, but there wasn't really anything to do. Metroid's honestly a really good example of this, because the desert, oh boy, it's something else here. It also seems like there's some sort of dock, so maybe you get a boat. Now, we already know that it's probably not going to be a boat, but you get a scooter that you can go in the water, so that's really cool. And this Pokemon game is going to be full of excitement with being able to go in the water and controlling the waves. Now, it's undetermined if the wind effect is actually going to affect how many waves and how many big things are going to be. Because hear me out. What if the wave or the wind would actually affect? Kind of like you're playing The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, where the waves would actually affect the boat that you're kind of on. So maybe it's going to be rougher to go in one direction, so it's going to push you until you get an upgrade for your scooter. Now, this isn't too far off to say, because pretty much in every Pokemon game, there's always some barrier that doesn't allow you to go pretty much anywhere. Like Scarlet and Violet, that was the mount that you had to sort of fully upgrade. You could go anywhere, but it was a little bit harder to do. So maybe the scooter is going to act something like that. There's going to be some barrier until you get the parts that you need to upgrade that scooter, and then all of a sudden you can sail across the waves. You will go super fast, and you can maybe get your scooter to fly, or it determines on the Pokemon that you catch. Now, I found this to be really interesting, and I honestly can't wait for Pokemon Generation 10, or I'm just gonna say it's Winds and Waves. It's going to be called Winds and Waves, because like, what other name is there for pretty much sailing the winds and the waves, because the winds and the waves really go together. Now, in terms of the legendary Pokemon, what could this be? Now, usually in every new Pokemon generation, there is a brand new legendary box or legendary bird species. Since it's Winds and Waves, I guarantee you one of them is going to be a massive bird, a cloud bird, and the other one is going to be a shark that swims underwater. Undetermined if you will be able to use that on your scooter, so it's going to be a super powerful flying Pokemon that pulls your scooter around, or you will be able to go underwater with the other one. Overall, what do you think about all of this? Do you think that Pokemon Winds and Waves or Generation 10 is looking very exciting, or do you think this is some baloney? I don't think we're going to be seeing voice acting. I don't think we're going to be seeing any of that stuff. Pokemon Company doesn't like to give us the fun. They only like to give us the dollary dues. I mean, completely understandable. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Consider hit the like button, maybe the subscribe button as well. We do a bunch of different Nintendo content on this channel. Pokemon, Mario, Zelda, pretty much everything Nintendo. So anyways, thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic day and see you in the next one.